All right, being a chiller owner means that there are several things you have to do to keep it happy and healthy. Today we're going to go over water maintenance and air filter maintenance. Before we begin, let's make sure you have all the products you need to be able to do this. First, you're going to need a 50 micron water filter. You're going to need the carbon hose filter, which allows you to put fresh water into the barrel, and then a bottle of stabilizer. We all know that that keeps our water nice and happy. You're going to need the wrench that came with your chiller. You're going to need a towel to catch any water you might spill, and finally, you're going to need an air filter. This is for when we go to replace the air filter in the chiller. All of these items right here come as a kit. You can get them on icebarrel.com. If you want to get them individually, you need a new pack of water filters, you can get those as well on icebarrel.com. Before I show you how to clean the water filter, change the water filter, and fully change out the water in your barrel, we got to make sure that we put our chiller into maintenance mode. You can do that one of two ways. You can do that right there in the menu on your chiller, but today I'm going to use the app. Now I'm right here in the chiller section of the app. I'm going to go up to settings up in the right hand corner, and you'll see the second line below members is maintenance. I'm going to switch it to maintenance on. Confirm that, and the water just stopped. Perfect. Now we can do some work. Now, if you're going to change out the water in your barrel fully, let me show you a few tips to make it super easy. First, you want to make sure that you're in maintenance mode on the chiller. You want to make sure both your water valves are shut on the ice barrel. Now that we got our water valves closed, we're going to take this adapter right here. It's called a garden hose adapter. It came with your chiller in the accessory box. You're going to take a garden hose, go ahead and screw that onto there. And this will allow you to drain your water away from your area. And this is really important, especially if you're in an area where you can't spill any water on the floor that you're working on, and you want to get the water away from your barrel. So now that that valve's closed, I can just disconnect that bottom line from your chiller, connect it up to your garden hose, extending out this quick connect hose to wherever you want. And then you can go ahead and open up your valve. Now that your barrel's fully drained out, you can go ahead and disconnect the water lines. I'm gonna go ahead and clean the pre-filter. First, I'm gonna reach down in here and unscrew it. The pre-filter is just as important as the filter to clean it. A clogged pre-filter can lead to a reduced water flow, and you may get a water flow restriction alert because of that. And if the water flow is low enough, it'll put your system into protect mode, because we want to protect all the components in the system. Make sure that whenever you do a water filter change, or even in between that, we pull out the pre-filter and we give it a good clean. You can see this one, I got some grass particles. There's a little bit of hair and goo. That's very lovely. So I'm just gonna clean it off with my hand, but also give it a little spray off with the hose here as well. All right, now that it's all cleaned off, it's time to put it back in. All the steps to clean out your barrel are super simple. We have a great video that walks you through that, and the link for that is in the description. When you go to fill up your barrel, you want to start with the best water possible, and the easiest way to do that is to use our carbon filter. It's going to filter all that water that comes through your line, whether it is city water or well water. It'll make sure that your chiller has the best water possible. Now that we have our pre-filter cleaned, we'll go ahead and give it a nice splash of Stabilize. You're going to add 2 capfuls, and then weekly, you're going to add 1 capful to your ice barrel. All right, let's make sure both of our water valves are shut off so no water from the barrel runs out of the system when we open up the filter bowl. Now that we have our water system shut off completely, we can open up our filter bowl. We're going to take our wrench, we're going to take a little towel, put that towel right under there, catch any water that will spill out. If you need something more extreme, like a big towel underneath here because you're in an area where you can't get water, you might need that as well. So the wrench is the same side either way, so it doesn't really matter. And we're gonna slide right up here along this top notch. We're gonna give it a little twist. Really, we only need the wrench to get it loose, to get it started. Now we can do it by hand. All right, inside your filter bowl will be your water filter. This guy's been running for me for about 3 weeks, and I haven't cleaned it. And what I will say is that general average use, daily use of your ice barrel, you will probably get about 3 to 4 weeks out of your filter. You can extend the life of the filter by cleaning it weekly. So let me show you how to clean it. So what you're gonna do is just take your hose, and I like to use the center mode on this particular head, and you just pull these pleats apart and you spray them out, and you work your way around the entire filter until you notice that there's the dirty side and there's the clean side. If you put it back in and you notice that you have a low water flow, then it's probably ready to completely change this out. All right, now that we've rinsed off our filter, we're gonna take a few more steps here. We got some not so good looking water sitting in there. We're gonna dump that out. If you want to, you can rinse this out as well. Take a towel, wipe it out, depending on how dirty this might be. You've noticed I was pretty intentional to keep my hand on the bowl like this because I don't want to lose this O-ring. This O-ring is very important. You will have water spraying everywhere if you don't have this O-ring in there. The other thing to note about this O-ring is that it's pretty flexible, and you want to make sure that it's sitting inside the groove towards the outside wall. And if it hangs over the inside edge of the filter bowl, kind of like this right here, it will not seal, and it will, when you go to turn it on, it'll spray water everywhere. So good tip for that is if it doesn't look like it's sitting in there the way you want, just put your hands around it, give it a slight little stretch, not too much. You'll overstretch it, and that'll make it easier to get it to sit in its seat where it belongs. There we go. All right, whether you're using the filter you've just rinsed out or you have a brand new filter, we'll put that in today. You just drop that back in your bowl. The next thing we want to do is fill it up with water. All right, we'll give this a good nice fill. Now that we filled it full of water, preventing any air being in the bowl, we're going to check that O-ring one last time. That looks like it's in the proper position. We'll go ahead and put it right up into place here, and by hand works great to start with our hand on the bottom and just work our way around here. Probably spill a little bit of water out, and we'll use our wrench, tighten it up the rest of the way. And I like to use that sticker as a reference for how far to go. When it's centered below the top outlet, that means that it's plenty tight. Now that our system's all closed up at the water filter bowl, we'll go ahead and open up our valves at the top and the bottom. Now we're gonna take it out of maintenance mode and check for any leaks. I'm gonna go back to my app, take it out of maintenance mode, go into settings, click maintenance mode off. Yes, let's do that. Now that we're out of maintenance mode, I'm gonna go ahead and turn cooling on just to get the water flowing. And I'm gonna check for any leaks, making sure that there's no water coming out anywhere, and I am good to go. Keeping the air filter clean is very important. So on the side of our chiller, there is a door that is magnetically affixed. We just pull it open like that, and you can see that air filter lives right in this little tray. Let's give it a nice little pull. Set our tray back into place for now, just to get it out of the way. Behind us is a brand new air filter, and in front of this is an air filter that's been running for about 3 months, and you can see there's like this little fuzzy dustiness stuff going on it. The great thing about these air filters are they are cleanable. So they have a lifespan to where cleaning them stops being very efficient. But today I'm going to show you how to clean them, and then replacing a new one and inserting a clean one. It looks about the same. So there's a couple different ways you can clean the air filter and remove all the particles that are on it. First is you could use an air compressor, spray it off with a can of compressed air. You could use a shop vac to vacuum it. But what we're going to do today is actually use a hose and spray it out. This can get wet, it sits out all the time, and then we're just going to let it dry before putting it back into our chiller. Okay, I'm going to give this a little spray. This is the dirty side right here, so I'm going to spray water right through the back side of it first, just to dislodge any of those particles. All right, that ought to do that. I'm going to flip it around and just spray it off the rest of the way. All right, that looks pretty clean. We can set it out in the sun, let it dry, and put it back in to get our system back up and running. Now that we got it all dried off, we're gonna slot it right back into that filter door, carefully sliding it back into place. And it's got a nice little seat. And we'll slide the filter door lip right back into the edge of the chiller there and pop it right back into place. Now it's ready to go, and you should probably plan on checking this and cleaning this every month or two. If you're in like a high pollen time, or it's really dusty out, or the cottonwood's flying, things like that, you may have to clean it more often. Now you might be asking, when do I actually need to replace it? When you notice that I've cleaned it and it still looks really dirty, that's time to replace it. It's good to have an extra one on hand, because if it's not pulling air through here correctly, then it can cause the chiller to run a little harder than it needs to be, and you just want to be ready to replace it whenever you need to. Just like maintaining your wellness routine, it's super important to maintain your chiller. And you can see it's really easy to do. If you have any questions, please reach out to us at icebarrel.com.